crisis, then. Are you not going to sell me the soap? The falter in her sweet voice snagged his attention. Still deciding. He crossed his arms and debated how long she'd stick around to find out, although if her track record of avoidance held true, he could be looking at another 9 years of silence. Please, I have to. On the tail end of a sigh, she sucked in her bottom lip and seemed to reconsider her plea. I need to purchase them. The way she emphasized the word unnerved him. Whatever her crisis, it wasn't nearly as shallow or vain as he'd first suspected. I don't make business deals in the heat, or while standing in the middle of my driveway. Her eyebrows arched and dipped succinctly. So, where do you? There's 3 offices on this property, but my laptop's in there, along with my current inventory figures. He hitched a thumb in the direction of Ford's house, and her reaction upstaged his imagination. Whatever brave front she'd pulled on before power-wheeling it over here had vanished, along with the pretty flush of her cheeks. I won't bite, but if you'd rather take a seat over there on the shaded porch swing, I'll make a compromise. Her gaze dragged back to his. No, we can go inside. It's fine. Though her tensed upper body and hard swallow told a different story. She hiked her duffel bag of a purse onto her shoulder and strolled toward the house, navigating each porch step in her heels as if to avoid a scattering of hidden landmines. Once at the top, she waited for Levi to hold the door open and invite her inside. Good thing he was 80% gentleman. He held the screen and allowed her to pass into the cluttered living area ahead of him. Ford's books and mechanical trinkets lay strewn over every shelf, table, and chair. His boss might not be the tidiest man alive, but he was definitely one of the wisest. Don't be shy about shoving that stuff over. Ford wouldn't mind. Not that she cared what Ford would or would not mind. Rayne bent to push a pile of Ford's treasured theological reference books aside, and then froze. Her gaze seemed to fixate on a cedar frame propped on the fireplace mantel, a 20-year-old photograph of William Shelby, his hair the same shocking black as his granddaughter's. But Levi doubted Rayne's interest was on her grandfather's hair, not when his arm was slung around the shoulders of a mid-40s Ford. Levi cleared his throat. You want something to drink? No, thank you. As stiff as her voice, she perched on the dusty sofa and smoothed a non-existent wrinkle from the front of her skirt. I really shouldn't stay long. Probably not. Levi chuckled at the obvious statement and shot her a sidelong glance. Though her once girlish figure had transformed into subtle womanly curves that kicked his pulse several notches higher, it was clear she was no closer to escaping her chosen captivity than she'd been the first night they'd met. Hunching over the desk, he opened his laptop and scrolled through the Second Harvest spreadsheets until he found the information he sought. I imagine you've checked with other stores around town? And by other stores, he meant every store in town. If Rayne Shelby had shown up asking him for help, then Second Harvest had to be her very last resort, an ironic twist of events, considering her family wanted nothing more than to stomp on Winslow Farm like a wayward seedling. Eyeing her, he closed his laptop and anchored his weight against the edge of the desk, crossed his ankles. Yes, I've checked with other stores, she replied. Even Gil over at Gilbert's Party Palace? His lips twitched, thinking of the elfish man with the personality of a doorknob and merchandise fit for the inside of a piñata. He offered me a box of kazoos or a case of I Heart Idaho shot glasses. Not quite up to the old Shelby standard, I suppose. She tangled her hands in her lap. Look, I realize my request seems strange, but this purchase is a critical part of an event I'm responsible for this Saturday night. I need 136 unique Idaho-made gifts to give to our patrons. For this Saturday, huh? That's 48 hours from now. Seems kind of last minute to be ordering something so critical for the governor's party. Word spread quickly when Governor Shelby was due for an appearance in the town named after his lineage, especially when